Portland has 8 very different neighborhoods, and picking the wrong one could cost you thousands of dollars. But it can also give you waterfront views, cultural access, and incredible walkability. So how do you know which one's worth your time? After living and working here my entire life, I'm ranking 8 neighborhoods from worst to best. My analysis is based on housing data, location, inventory, and long-term value potential. So let's go. Starting at the bottom, Riverton. And look, that doesn't mean it's a bad place to live. And I'll explain exactly why I think it belongs here on this list. Riverton sits on Portland's northwestern edge, about 4 miles from downtown. It's got a laid-back residential feel and real outdoor access, including the Riverton Trolley Bike Park. That's Portland's first dedicated bike park. It opened in 2025 with a pump track, flow trail, and dirt jumps right along the Presumpscot River. But the trade-offs are real. Retail inside the neighborhood is limited. Also, walkability is the lowest in this group. When you see some of the other scores on the other spots, you'll definitely be surprised. And I'm getting ahead of myself here. Appreciation has historically been slower than anything closer to the peninsula as well. Riverton has prices in the mid-500s, with homes averaging about 40 days on the market. That's the longest in this ranking. Now, if your price point is your priority as a first-time buyer, Riverton gives you the most accessible entry into Portland. But long-term appreciation and land limitation, those structural drivers just aren't here. So yeah, good value entry point, not a premium play though. One spot up, North Deering. And honestly, these two are pretty close. North Deering is Portland's most suburban feeling neighborhood, built up mostly during the subdivision boom from the post-war era through the 1990s. It's on the northeastern edge bordering Falmouth. Think larger lots, more square footage per dollar, and a feel that's completely different from the denser historic peninsula neighborhoods. Data puts North Deering in the high 500s, with homes moving in about 29 days. That's faster than Riverton. And the appreciation trend has been real. You get more house for your money here than pretty much anywhere else in this ranking. The trade-offs are real here too. So keep that in mind. Washington Avenue, the main corridor connecting North Deering to the rest of Portland, is one of the busiest road stretches in the city. It pretty much connects everything, which sounds great until you're sitting in it every single day. Walkability is also limited. Getting to the Old Port or East End for dinner means a drive. The reality is, North Deering is a space for price trade-off. Stable resale floor, steady demand from families and commuters, and a price range that still has room compared to peninsula options put it on this list. But if walk out your door lifestyle is what you've come to Portland for, keep watching till the end. Before we move to the next spot, if you're wondering which of these neighborhoods actually fits your lifestyle, I can help. I've lived here my entire life and I know this market inside out, so my info's in the description and I'd love to connect. Now back to the video. East Deering sits just across the bridge from the Portland Peninsula, and the single detail changes a lot. Why? Because you're connected directly to Munjoy Hill in East Bayside, and shared paths for walkers and cyclists. The Back Cove Trail, a 3.5-mile waterfront loop, is right there. So is Payson Park, with 48 acres of baseball fields, basketball courts, a splash pad, and a sledding hill. Speaking about prices, you can expect homes in the high 600s, with homes moving in about 28 days on average. But hot homes have been going above list price, and this is the most competitive market of any off-peninsula neighborhood in this group. But wait until we get to Oakdale, and you'll see even lower days on market. The housing stock here has early 20th century foursquares, Cape Cods, colonial revivals, and some newer condo builds. Now I'll be straight with you, parts of East Deering are still very car dependent. You're not walking to dinner the way you would on the peninsula, but the Back Cove Trail connection and park access make the outdoor lifestyle genuinely strong. Water proximity plus real peninsula access, that's what you're buying here. Now, Rosemont keeps surprising buyers who haven't looked at it closely. It's about 2 miles from the Old Port, inland on the western side of the city. The neighborhood is mostly owner-occupied homes, and that matters more than most people think. Data places Rosemont as more expensive than roughly 89% of Maine neighborhoods, literally. And that premium is directly related to what's going on here. Established housing stock, low vacancy, and almost no speculative pressure. Most homes are pre-1940 builds, capes, colonials, and duplexes with real New England character. The average home values are in the high 500s though. However, we're seeing much higher numbers as we move on. The defining institution here is Rosemont Bakery and Market, which has been set up on Brighton Avenue since 2005. Local sourcing, prepared foods, community energy. The kind of place that tells you everything about what a neighborhood is actually like. But here's the honest challenge. Brighton Ave, the main corridor in and out, can seriously get clogged with traffic, and I see this every single day. It's a real quality of life factor to plan around. Biking is a practical option if you're up for it. This is a stability strategy. Strong owner occupancy, consistent retail, and close enough to downtown to stay convenient. And before we get to the top 3, let's talk about an area that keeps getting overlooked. So a lot of people don't really pay attention to Oakdale. That's actually what keeps it interesting. It has 2 major drivers, the University of Southern Maine campus and Forest Avenue, one of Portland's key commercial areas. The housing stock is primarily Victorians and American four-squares built around a century ago, some rising 3 stories in classic Portland fashion. Oakdale has median prices in the mid-600s, and homes here are moving very fast. The recent average was about only 8 days on market. That's the tightest in the entire ranking, so inventory stays very tight here. The USM campus drives steady demand from faculty, staff, and broader academic communities, and that matters for long-term resale stability. Beyond campus, Rose Foods on Forest Avenue has been called out as one of the best bagel shops in the country outside of New York City. The Great Lost Bear at 540 Forest Avenue has been a Portland institution since 1979 with over 60 craft beers on tap, including a solid lineup of Maine breweries. And Hadlock Field, home of the Portland Sea Dogs, is within easy reach. And if you like what you hear, I'll be showing you more areas with amazing cultural options later as well. I-295 runs along Oakdale's edge, which gives you strong highway access, but also some noise to factor in. What this means for you: historic architecture, improving walkability, and the kind of tight inventory that supports long-term value. But if you want a neighborhood with real character and built-in demand, Oakdale is worth a serious look. The West End is genuinely one of the best preserved Victorian neighborhoods in the entire country. The Boston Globe called it their new favorite neighborhood in Portland, Maine in March 2026. That's not a small feat. It sits on Bramhall Hill at the western tip of the Portland Peninsula. Grand 19th century mansions, leafy streets, and the western promenade right at the edge. You've got many acres of parkland and panoramic views of the White Mountains and Fall River. Data places the West End pricing in the high 800s, but some types of homes can go well over $2 million. New supply is structure limited as well. The neighborhood is bordered by water on one side and Maine Medical Center, Portland's largest employer, on the other. Land cannot expand here. Now, I want to be honest with you about one thing. The West End is mostly residential. You can walk the neighborhood itself, but for most restaurants, bars, and nightlife, you'll be heading to the Old Port or Congress Street. That's a real trade-off, and it's something I see buyers underestimate until they actually live it. It's also very different from the #1 spot on this list, so make sure you stick around for it. The land constraint here is permanent, so this plus historic character equals long-term pricing power. That's the West End appeal, and it's a strong one. Okay, so Munjoy Hill is Portland's most celebrated urban neighborhood, and the data backs that up completely. It's in the eastern point of the Portland Peninsula, rising from the waterfront with beautiful views of Casco Bay, Portland Harbor, and the Calendar Islands. Once considered rough around the edges, it's now the city's most interesting neighborhood, and prices reflect that. The East End is in the mid-700s, but other active listing data pushes that into way higher figures. For instance, in June 2025, a renovated 1856 two-family home on Munjoy Hill sold for $2.95 million. That's the highest price ever recorded for a 2 to 4 family home in Portland history. So what actually drives that? The Eastern Promenade is a 68-acre designed parkland with a 2-mile trail along the harbor. East End Beach, kayak access, Fort Allen Park, tennis courts, and a dog off-leash area. The Portland Observatory, built in 1807, is actually the last remaining maritime signal tower in the United States. The walkability is also real, with a walk score of around 80, and the front room, Hilltop Coffee Shop are right in the neighborhood. The land limitation here is as severe as anywhere in Portland though. Peninsula surrounded by water. Supply cannot expand. This is also true for the last spot on the list, but the cultural side of things is definitely going to surprise you. A walkability score of 99 out of 100, the highest in the city. Incredible lifestyle, that's the Old Port. The Old Port Historic District sits on the southeastern tip of Portland Peninsula. Cobblestone streets, 19th century brick buildings, fishing piers, and a food scene that has absolutely elevated Portland's national profile. Downtown condo pricing is in the mid-600s. Other types of homes push into the high 700s and well above for premium units. Inventory ranges from $400,000 for smaller condos up past $2 million for premium waterfront units. Homes here sit on average for 90 days on market because buyers at this price point are deliberate, but hot homes go for near list price and demand does not go away. The cultural infrastructure is exceptional. The Portland Museum of Art, Merrill Auditorium, Portland Stage Company, Casco Bay Ferry Lines, 4th Street Restaurant, and Duck Fat. Plus Gross Confection Bar, a recent James Beard Award semifinalist. The Old Port Square development is pretty much reimagining a 4-acre downtown block with residences, offices, restaurants, and retail. But I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention the real trade-offs. Parking in Portland is definitely limited and not cheap. Summer crowding is very real. If you want to own here, plan around these realities. And I see this every single day. Quality property here does not sit, it moves. The Old Port is Portland's most premium address, and it earns that ranking. Portland in 2026 is actually 8 micro markets with different supply dynamics, different walkability profiles, and different long-term value drivers. And that's what this ranking is really about, understanding that people have their own priorities and lifestyles. So if you're seriously considering a move to Portland and want to find out which area fits you, send me an email. I'm here to give you the full picture, not just the highlights. But you should also understand what's actually happening with Portland's overall market right now. I've linked a video right here that breaks down the full market shift. It's definitely worth watching before you make any decisions. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.